So any questions you have, just don't hesitate. Not to put pressure on you, but it's just you in the room right now. So, and I'll do this for like an hour, but I'll answer questions about the quiz or your homework. Do you have a speaker? Because you have full permission to talk. So you have a speaker. Do you have a microphone? I should rephrase that. But I'm happy to. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my window with you. I like this interface for what we're trying to do because you're learning something very complicated online. But you should know that if you ever need help, what I do is I do screencasts, similar to what you've seen in the class, but they'll be private. So like this year I've done 1,883 already. So anything you need, I can do it pretty fast if you send me an email, and then it'll be private and for you only. So that's good to know. Right now I have my server on, so I'm ready to code something for you if you'd like. I don't know if you're good at forms, but the assignment this week is based on you're creating your own form and just simply output the values of the form with PHP. So, excuse me. So what I'm looking for on that is that you understand the difference between the post and get method, and that you just satisfy the requirements. So with WebD 153, I may have some users that don't have traditional HTML. It's one thing we're trying to fix with the curriculum here because that number is very low, and this is actually a course that depends on a little bit of HTML knowledge. But if you look at the form that comes with the assignment, this guy already has an example of the form elements. So here's a text field, here's a radio, here's a drop down, and here's some checkboxes. So I'm hoping that you can just go through that and possibly change it around and then output your values. And the reason it's so important is because this class really focuses on database. And that's why we have this somewhat intensive PHP bootcamp, because PHP is the best language for communicating with the database. So that can be kind of complicated. We have a lot of PHP in the first 2 weeks, but there's another course, WebD 166, and that class focuses on PHP entirely. And we do a little bit of databasing in there, but it's more of a deep dive into PHP. So I know I have 1 or 2 more students who I know will attend. Last week I didn't have, maybe 3 people showed up, which is fine. It is what it is. I do like the idea of doing this, and we may change the time. So I think 7 o'clock on a Thursday night might be a good time. It may not, but either way, it's recorded and it'll be on YouTube. So let's see, it looks like you do have a.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, hi, Melody. Yes, I am.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I was playing around with everything. Perfect. How are you this evening?
I'm great. More worried about you guys because we never interact. I'm very much an on-ground guy. I like to touch base with my students as frequently as possible. So how's the course going so far?
So far, so good. I haven't finished all of chapter 2, but I knew you were going to offer this webinar or web session, so I wanted to maybe ask you before I just kept going so that I didn't get too lost on some of the things. So, well, one of the things that I'm not, so the nice thing is that I've worked in technology, so I've had the opportunity to do some scripting in MySQL from previous roles. So
Great.
At least I have that understanding of PHP. Now it makes sense how PHP relates to my MySQL. I didn't take the previous deep dive into PHP. It wasn't offered when this was offered, and I wanted to go through this. But one of the things that I'm still trying to understand is I don't really think I understand what a use case for, like a real live use case of an array. Like I keep reading over and over, but I don't really understand where I would ever just have a group of variables, and then I need to find a way to kind of extract all of them from a line. Why wouldn't it just be a list of each variable so I can call on it? I still just couldn't wrap my head around that.
Absolutely. Well, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, it takes a minute to load, but that just might be my internet speed. Right now I see your PHP My Admin localhost.
Yeah, great. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go in here. This is I don't know if you have any experience with this, but this is the GUI or interface that we'll be using to interact with our database throughout the course. And we're going to start that in about a week, probably week 3, week 4. And so if I click on any of these databases, I get a bunch of tables. Now, the reason why we're focusing on arrays and what the usage of this is if I go to, just like, let's see, it looks like there might be, there's some records inside here. If I go to this, I can actually run MySQL queries, and if I just pull out select all from action recorder and then execute it, that query, this data right here, guess what? It's an array. So when it comes in, you're going to need to be able to loop around it and not only get values, but get key value pairs. So MySQL, the way PHP deals with it when it makes a query, it fetches both associative arrays and regular arrays. And that's why, that's the use case. You're talking about a database course where the data always shows up as an array. So like this would come in as a list.
So as a list. Oh, okay. So I think from when I was looking at it on the, you know, the example that they give, like an array for the month. Okay, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
It's just
okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're skipping over a lot of things that are part of PHP, like file handling and object-oriented programming, but we'll be doing PHP data objects. And the native state of the data back and forth is always going to be an array. So that's why the book was written the way it is, and that's sort of why the course is taught the way it is.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense now. So I guess, yeah, that was just for the examples in the book, it made sense, but I was trying to think of it in terms of, you know, if someone gives me a website and they want to create it, and I was just thinking, well, I don't know, I wouldn't know how to create something kind of from scratch because I couldn't really think of on my own what kind of use cases in the real world I would be looking to do that, but I didn't put that together that's what it reads.
Yeah, and almost all of my work,
makes sense.
Almost all of my work is LAMP stack, Linux, MySQL, PHP. And I know moving forward I'm proposing a course that's advanced JavaScript for this field, because JavaScript can now support back-end development. It actually can create a front-end database, but it's a little different than MySQL. But like I have a few websites around town. BallastPoint.com is one of them, and everything in here is in a database. Everything.
You did
this is mine. And I also did their.
For Ballast Point, the one in Little Italy?
Well,
you created?
they actually sold for $1 billion, but yeah, I did. I've got a few things around town. I did.
Wow.
I don't know if you know the Valley View Casino Center, the sports arena.
Yeah.
This is a good one too. This has a tremendously large database that depends on time. So this is mine, and thank you to MySQL for being so time sensitive that you can do this relatively quickly. So basically everything in here, like this is all data from the database, and those are the use cases. I don't know of any sites that I have where I didn't use a database. So yeah, basically all the dynamic content in here, all stored in a database. And the beauty of it too, Melody, is that you make a little more money. And people generally, when there's dynamic data, they tend to open their wallets a little bit more, especially when it comes to security and backing up the data. It's a good field to be in. But now there are multiple ways of saving things, and I mentioned the mean stack, which is Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. That's a whole new technology that's coming up the pike. But I do believe that MySQL and everything taught here will be around for a very long time. It's called a relational database. Yeah.
Do you? Because that's actually something that I've actually been interested in. Was I recently was part of kind of the ongoing trend of companies laying people off, and before I was laid off, one of the things that I said was I should learn another skill, and everything pointed to development. But I wasn't sure if the skills that I was going to learn at Mesa College was going to be enough, because I wasn't seeing some of the newer technologies that I knew the developers at my previous company were talking about, such as Angular and Mongo and things like that. So I wasn't sure as you're teaching it, what would you suggest? Like I'm in the JavaScript course concurrently right now too. Any tips on kind of what you think you could supplement after this course?
Well, are you in the associates or the certificate program at all?
I'm just taking the classes as I find them interesting. So I haven't spoken to a counselor to get on a track. I've graduated before, but I just wanted to learn this.
We actually have a lot of adult learners. Are you ever on campus?
No, everything's been online.
Yeah, well, I guess that because I just got hired in the fall. And in my past, I'd worked up at Stanford. I'm still at UCSD. I have 4 classes over there right now. But one of the things that the full-time faculty does here is we control curriculum. So I'm the full-time faculty member for this major. And so I've already proposed the advanced JavaScript. I'm removing the Dreamweaver course. But there's also a web club that we started. And this coming week, I am looking to have someone from Vitamin Talent come in and speak as to the benefits of still doing LAMP stack. So what we're going to do is evolve. We have to rip up some courses. We have to change some course numbers and update them and add some new technologies. And it's going to take like about a year. But on campus, we're building this new building for business and computer science. And it's a multi-million-dollar project. So Mesa's funding updates on everything, which is great. It's been probably the best college I've ever taught for as far as being proactive. The problem is it takes a while to get a course approved, but they are coming down the pike. And then we'll have that advanced JavaScript. But there's places inside each course where we can hit that stuff now. For example, in JavaScript, are you familiar with ES6? It's the latest version of JavaScript. Well, all of us teachers, all we faculty, we could all implement these new versions of ES6 into our WebD 170. So there's no reason why we can't start right now, which means maybe those last 2 weeks having a glimpse of Angular, getting the student ready for the next step. There's a front-end certificate program at UCSD, and I teach the JavaScript 1 and 2 over there, and we teach Angular and Node and Mongo over there. So it's just a case of getting it approved here. I'm experimenting with possibly getting a boot camp, but that's where we sit.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll maybe take a look over at UCSB as well and see if that's something I
this
can
is the
take a look
front
at.
end developer. They have a boot camp over there. Let's show you the. Let's see. This is our front end web development, and I wrote most of these in the last couple of years, but the courses are HTML, CSS, HTML, JavaScript. So these three right here, HTML5 and JavaScript, jQuery, and front-end development, I teach all those. There's also a JavaScript 2 that is in here. That's where the Mongo is taught. But there hasn't been much interest, honestly, in it. So we've been sticking with this. We teach a lot of vanilla JavaScript, but the frameworks are there. So this is me, and right now I'm just teaching these 5. So a lot of user experience is what I teach, so we're just running that this quarter. But they're around. I like Mesa because the courses are so much cheaper. The courses at UCSD are, the courses are $700 over at UCSD. And they're shorter. They're 11 weeks. So, yeah, that can be really intense. Right now I have a jQuery class that's running 7.5 weeks long. And it's a lot of content to consume in that time. With Mesa, you get time, you get access to the instructors. There's a lot of positives over here.
This is a pretty good place for me.
Yeah, I was amazed. I mean, I was up at Stanford, and I think this school is better than Stanford. So I just know what I see. I saw that the way they train the faculty here is excellent. It's really solid. Like first day that I came here, they were giving me a tour, and we went out to the culinary department, and they stopped the tour there and said, "Okay, we've got 70 people coming for lunch in an hour. Cook it. Be ready." So we all had to cook dinner for the president and the entire administration in an hour. So they do some great things here. Very unique. Ignacio, you have permission to speak if you want, if you have a microphone.
That sounds great.
I'm here to answer questions. You guys can come in and out as you please. There's no reason to speak.
I'm sorry. I just signed in just to see, kind of like what's the topic, because I signed up late for the class, so I didn't know if you guys had like a meeting last week. So I just kind of like want to get a feel for it, like the online meetings.
Yeah, we did a live session last week and had 3 people come in. There weren't many code questions because people were pretty green. At this point, I would expect you to have a local server installed and the ability to run PHP on that server. If you saw the homework requirements, that's right. A lot of confused because Blackboard can be confusing if you've never used it before.
Oh, I have. Cool. I actually did that homework, but like I said, I signed up late, so when I submitted it, it was late. It says on Blackboard, so I don't know if that affects anything.
I don't think I charged anybody for lateness this first time. I don't think I would. Generally, I'm very lenient. I would rather have good work than rush work. That's kind of how I am. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's still coming in. Here we go. Ignacio Cruz, yeah. Time to grade you publicly, Ignacio. Hey, cool. Yep, you're good. So,
so just kind of like what, kind of just introduce myself to get out of the class. So I'm actually I'm a employee right now. I'm a systems analyst. I used to be a data analyst and SQL developer.
Great.
Now I'm more in charge of our website. I mean, I could figure out like how to code like website development here and there, but it takes me longer than I suppose to someone a web developer. So I want to be more proficient in that. When it comes to like SQL stuff, I could definitely figure that out pretty easy. But
sure.
I just wanted to get my web development certification.
Okay, great. You're in the certificate program. That's great. Are you ever on ground on campus?
I'm sorry?
Are you ever on campus? Do you ever take anything?
I'm taking a couple of campus classes and 2 online classes. So I'm taking advanced, intermediate HTML and CSS and this class. And then 2 of them are in seat.
Okay, good. Well, if you ever are on ground and you are interested in coming to one of our web club meetings, you can sign up at this web address, mm214.com/webclub. And you're not obligated by any means. I just want to get people who are interested. And what will happen is I'll send out an email when we come up with a meeting time. And you know, again, you don't have to do anything really. But I'll just send the email to you and say, hey, we're gonna have a meeting. Because I've been trying to get guest speakers in, and I have a guy from Vitamin T coming in. Probably Monday afternoon, but I haven't confirmed it yet, so I can't send out an invitation. He would tell us, because there's a quiz for Vitamin T when you sign up, and I'm really anxious to hear what the quiz is. It used to be very Lampstack based, but I would like to teach to their quiz because they offer contract work, and it's generally about $35 an hour. And now you're already professional, so you have a job, but for these other students, it's pretty vital to get a feel on where they can get hired.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crucial to have that experience. I wish that I had an internship in college, but I never did. But it worked out. So.
Yeah, cool. Well, one thing I can tell you is if you're getting into web development, this is a lifesaver for me. This is software called Snippets.me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do a lot of mobile development. I do a lot of Swift, Objective-C, Java, PHP, SQL, all the stuff I'm teaching here, but I also do a heck of a lot of Angular, and I forget where I am sometimes. I mean, I'm a guy who will drive home on the wrong highway to get home. It's that bad. But this is a very nice piece of software where you can, I'll zoom this in so you can see the screenshot, but basically you can organize your code by language, and it has a search functionality for all the blocks of code that you use repetitiously. I would say start with this homework assignment 1 because it's an example of every form element. So if you think about what you'd be doing from a web-based perspective, forms are pretty intensive. And Snippets.me is free. It's a free software, and I find it very helpful for me to find things that I need right now quickly, and it cut down my development time quite a bit.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I'm downloading it right now. So. Yeah,
cool. Give it a shot. You know, and then every time you get something like this homework, for example, throw it in there and say, hey, form example, and then you can just copy and paste it. Because ironically enough, the biggest fear for me in this class is people without HTML experience, because Web 153, even though it's a low number, has a prereq that's 162. So, and Mesa's pretty lenient about prerequisites. A lot of times they'll just let people slide in.
Right, it's an advisory.
Right, that's why this first week, in the first 2 weeks, I'm giving a form out so you can see it and get every type of element. Yeah, so I'll take any specific code questions. What you're seeing right here is my screencast channel where I can make private screencasts for you if you need them. I like that because you can pause me. I slow down a lot when you can have that capability. I think I have a tendency to teach quite fast. So if you ever need that, let me know. But yeah. So right now, I mean, we have this intense week of PHP this week, and then next week more PHP, and we're going to start databasing probably toward the end of next week. So that'll be some of the materials this week. You probably noticed that I'm developing this on the fly. That's because I just got the course. But another reason we're developing it and releasing these files at the end of the week is because I don't want it to overlap the other PHP course, which is WebD 166. I have a bunch of students who are taking both at the same time, and WebD 163 really does a deep dive into PHP, whereas this course is very database-centric. It's going to be about designing databases and PHP's ability to communicate with them, which is why the focus on arrays this week.
All right on. Well,
yeah,
hopefully I shouldn't have issues with the databases. Now, I was SQL developer, so if I have issues with that now, then we have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and you can probably imagine for the students who don't have experience that, you know, understanding primary keys and entity arrays diagrams are going to be a little bit of a hill to climb for most of the class.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's it's a lot to learn at first, but once you get going, it's really fun.
It really is.
It's been a while since I've learned, though.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I think that I didn't really understand the web until I got into databases in the late 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But once I knew about dynamic content, that's when everything kind of rolled forward, and I said, okay, I see how the web works now. You know, it helps. I think SQL is one of the easier things because it is structured query language. It's English, basically. You're making...
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's why when I started... the first programming language that I learned other than SQL was Python, because it's very the syntax is very readable like English.
Yeah, I love Python. There's a course here in Python, but it's not in the web program. I'm going to show you something. This is one of the issues, but this usage statistics market share for PHP websites, and this shows the number of websites that are using PHP. So PHP is used by 83.1% of all the websites whose server-sided programming language we know. Python, I get a lot of feedback on this. I know Python because I started with Perl, but Python's everyone calls it an excellent language, powerful and fun, and I can't argue that. It's very good. But until servers start supporting it a little more, then that's when it'll come over to the web umbrella. But right now, there is a bunch of server companies that are beginning to host Python, so that'll be in the near future. Right now, my focus, and I told Melody this, is getting an advanced JavaScript course for this program, something that would do frameworks a little bit more, like Angular and maybe React.js. So.
Yeah, that's actually a really good thing to learn is JavaScript, because it's not really hard yet. There's a lot of website just services. There's a lot of them that use the JavaScript.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I was teaching up at Stanford. You can produce mobile applications with it as well.
Oh, really? I thought it was.
Yeah, there's something called Cordova, and this will wrap your HTML, JavaScript, in one block of code for any device. So that's a wonderful thing, and it's great for data-type applications, data feeders. Most of my applications I've coded in the last 2 years have been applications for salesmen in the field, where I can send them data for good leads. And so this has been my tool of choice for all my native applications. Instead of having to learn Swift or Objective-C or Java for Android, I can just use this one code base. And it has access to all the hardware on your phone, whether it's the camera, local storage. But your JavaScript capabilities can translate pretty easily into a mobile development job. And the best thing about that is it pays well. All these jobs pay pretty well, yeah. So if you're taking JavaScript, I'd encourage you to check out Cordova. It's pretty neat.
Oh, right on. Let me put that in my notes also.
Yeah. Lynn's here. Hi, Lynn. Do you have any questions? You want to talk about the week 1 stuff at all, or the week 2, the forum assignment?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, that stupid quiz question. I wrote you back what it was. It was the one, I was like, how do you write hello? It's an easy, how do you write hello world?
Oh, okay, that question? That's
yeah.
Well, I'll show you right here.
And I picked, just echo. Right.
Let's answer it. Yeah, you're getting a free question. Okay, so let's do next. So right here. Okay, so this would be the 2.
I picked, echo double quote semicolon.
Yeah, it's print too. Do you have any check boxes?
So I picked the second one there, the one you just checked, and I'm getting that I missed it.
Wait, you have to select both.
Oh.
See other check boxes?
Oh, it doesn't say you can do one.
Well, they're check boxes. So how do you
you're only allowed to select one answer.
No, who said that?
I don't know. I just thought that.
No, you go ahead and select 2. There's your answer.
Well, okay, because I tried I tried to, and I tried B, answer B, and then I got it wrong. Answer A, and I got it wrong. I didn't try both of them. Okay.
Try both, you'll be okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's all. No big problem. Yeah, I don't really like these quizzes, but I'm leaving it in the online course just to give students the opportunity to get into it. But we really just need to know how to code. So I've removed quizzes from my on-ground courses. They're just not an accurate representation of what you've learned. Anything code-based? I did a lot with arrays this week that are kind of complicated. I was telling Melody that the reason we're doing that is because with PHP, when it queries the database content like you see on the screen, there is going to be native arrays as the result, and that's why we need to be able to extract values. It's the whole point of this focus.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys just talk, because I haven't started.
Okay. Well, I can maybe help you a little bit with this assignment. Let's go in and check it out. Let me go to week 2, and I have a video for this, but I put the code from my video where I created a form and outputted it. I put it in the assignment. So your job is to create a registration form. And I'm going to go ahead and save this to my MAMP install. I'm on a Mac, so I'm using MAMP. But I do have XAMPP in here too. It really doesn't matter. I mean, if I had my way, I would have you guys all buy shared hosting, just because it's not expensive and you can make money off it. I mean, I have HostRocket, and I host 10 sites for free, and I charge them each $100 a month. So it's a win-win by paying for shared hosting. I think I pay $12 a month or something, and you're making $1,200 off it. So that gives you an idea. But so this is the form that I made in our video. So I can do Chris Secor. I have a radio button and sophomore, and I like hockey, and I can say hello. But I really am I want you to be able to output data from a form, because what's going to happen is that form, we're going to take these values and we're going to put them in a database. And that's the first thing we need to learn. It'll be a single table. But the other thing you should learn from this first lesson is the difference between post and get. This is a big deal, and it'll tell you how the web works. If I hit refresh here and I look at my source code, you see that I'm using method get. Well, if I go and type in some stuff again, sophomore, junior, hockey, baseball, you will see pairs of variables in the URL window. So get is very, very important because it passes data through the top. If I click if I go back to this, you can see that it caches all the values. So something like a registration form, we should never ever see get. We should see post only. And I want to see how many students are going to be doing that. If there's no method assigned, it automatically goes to get. So one thing I'll be looking for when I grade is post. Make sure it's post, because with a registration form, which is the requirement, we should see no variables in the URL window. Nothing should be cached. It should just send the data seamlessly. You'll notice the text sends the data to a separate script. I'm sending it to the same script. There's no difference. I just wanted you to see the code in front of you. So inside here, this is called a super global, and that's what's grabbing each value. And PHP only knows one thing, and that's the name attribute of HTML. So all the types are pretty easy except for the checkboxes, which have these little brackets, and that's where the confusion comes in for students. But if you go and just satisfy the requirement, let's say you have a problem with it, what you could do is just change the values to be registration. So in my assignment, I say, output the values. You should have at least 5 fields, including at least 1 radio group and 1 checkbox group. So you could have something like name, email. The radio group, as long as you understand that it's one select instead of multiple, could be anything. It could be, do you have a degree? Yes, no. And then you could have the checkbox group list the type of degrees you have. That could be something. It could be a registration form for a school. That would be the 5. So you have to think of that, and you have to kind of research the form. But I have no problem with you replacing what I've given with the same values. Okay? So I don't know. To me, I've been with forms for 20 years, so I don't know how confusing it is. I can tell you that if you want your stuff to be very unique, you can always add the required attribute. This is really nice because then if the person doesn't fill it out like this, let me go back to form.php. There we go. Thank you, Cash. But if I hit this, it'll tell me to fill out this field. That's because I put the required there. And the placeholder is fun because when you type that in, it replaces it. So, I'm not going to be grading forms so much. I'm really about the output of the data. Okay. There's excellent. There is excellent form validation now in HTML5 that doesn't require JavaScript. You just put required in and you're good. So I would encourage you to experiment with that. Cool. How are you guys with your HTML?
Like I said, I can figure out. Like I've used it at a job.
Beginning and
I could figure it out, but I'm not very proficient.
Yeah, we really need that before. That's one of the things that bothers me about this course. It's WebD 153, and HTML CSS is WebD 162. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a substantial amount of HTML in here just because we have to have the display of the data.
Right.
And we have to be able to insert. But HTML has gotten better than ever. In fact, just to show you, if I were to do, it's very mobile-centric now. If I did input type equals email, then on your mobile device, it would show the email keyboard. If I did input type TEL for telephone, it would show the numeric keypad. So there's a lot of reasons why we want to go with the most modern type of HTML when we code. And I'm not sure we get that. I know in our textbook for this course, it's not shown that well. But I would say for all of you who want to be web developers, just master HTML, CSS, definitely hit that. It's super vital, and you can get work just off that, literally. So.
Right. I know someone. She's one of my friends. She's in marketing.
Everybody else.
And she's like, she doesn't even know any JavaScript, but she just designs the website, and it's strictly HTML, CSS.
Yeah. CSS can do a lot of what we do in JavaScript now. I mean, CSS3, there's CSS3 animations that are amazing. I mean, this is kind of a silly one, but all you would have to do is use a generator, and you could make any kind of animation you want. And things we used to use for JavaScript were like this right here. You can reset it and just change the marker here, like this, and you see it's animating. Like literally, all you have to do is move the playhead, and it'll write the code for you. And the code is pretty straightforward. So, we used to use JavaScript for all our drop-downs, and now we use CSS for them. I mean, if you use CodePen, CodePen CSS3 animated menu. So this is a career on its own. Pure CSS is going to be a good one. So this is an animated menu, and you see it doing this. So my last big corporate gig was Carlin Communications downtown. It was a pharmaceutical firm. And this menu is all done in CSS. So if I close it, it goes to the left. Mm-hmm. And there's very little JavaScript in here. In fact, the mobile version of this, there's your mobile. You go around here, and you see that everything you see here that's animated is CSS. It's not JavaScript. So this site right here, actually, I was just looking at this earlier, capabilities. This all CSS. So that's where we sit. I mean, there's a lot of work I do out there that is I'm slowly replacing CSS3 because 2% of this world has JavaScript turned off. That's not a very good thing for us. So.
I was just going to ask if there was a particular when I took the intermediate HTML, CSS, it was very, very CSS heavy. So when you're saying advanced HTML, is there a component that we're missing because it was almost purely advanced CSS and Mesa's intermediate one?
Yeah, I do. When I got here, I looked at the curriculum, and I looked at everyone's syllabus, and I found after one semester that the students that I was getting who had taken those courses were weak in forms. And the CSS was strong. The HTML was good, but I didn't see much with grids or flex boxes. The CSS flex box is a big deal. So if you're looking for further study, because if you're here tonight, chances are you're a self-taught learner, and maybe you're doing this for networking and also just the stimulus. But the flex box I don't think is taught as well as it could be here, and I know forms are a little weak. And I've seen it. I saw it this afternoon. I had an on-ground course and we were doing form stuff, and the students were a little bit weak with it. Which is, it's all a good thing, because I recognize that we're going to implement it. I have meetings with the other faculty. The faculty here I find to be very good, very competent. I can say some pretty amazing things about each one of them. Like Teresa Telke, she's literally written articles for the W3. Like, it's very impressive. She's been in this game longer than I have. So, I don't know if you guys ever took David Taniguchi. He's the reason I'm doing this right now.
Oh, he was the one.
I actually have him on 2 of my classes.
Cool, yeah.
I just got off his class.
Cool, yeah. Yeah, that guy is so good, and he's very modest. But he's the reason who, I'm even using Blackboard Collaborate tonight, because he had done it last semester, and a lot of students liked it. And it brings us closer together, because honestly, persistence in online classes is not very good because students feel like the teacher's not there.
Right.
So, yeah, Taniguchi's great. Marianne Gibson is one of the most organized people I've ever met. And Emily Kay, if you ever get her, exceptional. She's a Lynda author just like I am. She's got great materials. So I've taught in a lot of colleges, and I can tell you that this faculty will repair things when we need to. Our biggest problem right now is just getting courses approved. It just takes a long time. There's a process that you have to go through channels, hoops. You got to get things signed off by 30 different people. So, and that's it's the same everywhere else. It was that way in Stanford. It's that way at UCSD. But I think with us, we want it more. We can see what we could be. I mean, this could be a 4-year degree. Mesa has a 4-year degree right now. It's health information. We can do that. And there aren't 4-year web degrees out there. So I think it's pretty exciting.
I'm gonna have to drop off. Actually, I have to do something tonight. So I appreciate the hosting the web. Definitely helps. If I have a question for next week or whatnot, I know that I could always hop on and do some
you could also email me, and I'll make one of those screencasts for you. So have a great night. I'm going to keep doing this. It doesn't matter if nobody shows up. It's okay. The fact is, it's available. But I prefer making screencasts.
All right. For sure. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Good one. You guys are still hanging in with me, huh? I haven't coded anything.
Who are you talking to?
Both of you. There's Lynn and Melody. We have 2 left. Lynn meet Melody, Melody meet Lynn.
He needs a private session.
Wait, you need a private session?
No, I don't know the name of the guy that just got off. Ignacio. He needs a private session because that had nothing to do with.
Yeah. He's a database guy. He's actually a database professional. Yeah, I'm happy to do private sessions. I mean, we're kind of doing private one right now. If you have questions.
Well, isn't Melody's still here, right?
Yeah, Melody's in the same boat as you.
What?
Melody's in the same boat as you. Melody's a new student.
No, I just heard her say she already took a bunch of classes. I think, didn't she?
Well, yeah, she's taken intermediate HTML, CSS, but she hasn't taken this one.
Well, that's more than me.
Don't feel bad. Do you have any specific questions? Hey, we get Julie here. Now we got a third.
Okay, I have a question. Can I ask you a question real quick? So basically, we have no way to get a hold of you before this homework is due Sunday at midnight, correct? After this, right?
No, you can email me anytime you want.
On the weekend?
Yeah, always.
Well, actually, how about tomorrow? Because this weekend I have to work. I'm working both Saturday and Sunday. Like, it's like from 4 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. So I can't really do anything.
Yeah, weekends I work. Weekends I prep. I have 8 classes I'm teaching. I'm available to every student. It doesn't matter.
You're teaching 8 classes? I
am.
All within SDCCD?
Nope, just 4 here and 4 at UCSD.
Oh my God.
Well, I quit my corporate job. I used to teach 8 and the corporate.
Oh God.
So it's not. I enjoy it. I'm in a really happy place. Look how tanned my bald head is. I'm in a good place. We're all happy.
Is that from your office life?
Yeah, right. It's because I'm so relaxed now that I teach at Mesa. I go outside a lot and just hang out outside, watch young people learn. It's nice.
Oh, I thought that was your natural skin color.
No, I'm very tan. I was in Maui over the winter break. So, and dressed and ready. I'm ready to help you. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'll be babysitting dogs, so I'll be available all day.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm happy to do a screencast for you, Lynn, personally.
No, it's go ahead. Why doesn't the new person? Why don't you talk? You didn't get a chance yet, Julie.
Hey, Julie. You're free to speak if you have a microphone.
You have to push the little talk button thing.
Yep.
Click on the talk thing.
Right here.
How's that?
Hi, Julie.
Hi. I've never done this before, so I was just going to listen.
Test the waters. Well, I'm here, it's mostly for just help and code issues. The only thing I solved so far was giving away a quiz question that had checkboxes which allowed you for multiple selections. So I haven't coded anything yet. It is being recorded, and I promised a couple students I would just publish it to YouTube, even though we haven't really coded anything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just starting chapter 1, so I'm a little behind.
Okay, that's a very much an entry-level PHP thing. Chapter 2 gets a little bit more sticky. The homework, what I would do to handle this homework is to go to the top here and literally watch this movie. This is the homework right here. Watch that video, and you will see under the assignment here, there's a form, and you have to create your own registration form and output the data from the fields. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'll definitely need to watch that. Feeling a little lost at the moment.
Yeah. Did you get your server up?
I did. Yeah, that's all I've done so far.
Okay.
I took on 17 units this semester, so I'm kind of drowning a little bit.
How many units?
17.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, playing catch up.
I think Do you have experience at all with HTML, Julie?
I just took the beginning HTML CSS class last semester.
Okay, cool. I would think that with just that, you could probably get away with 4 to 5 hours a week on my courses. Some people less, some people more. It depends on how much you want to get out of it. You could conceivably just attack the homework and the quizzes and ignore the content, or just maybe ignore some of the videos, but and that would, expedite time, but you wouldn't get as much out of the course. You could certainly get an A in the course if that's your goal by doing that. If you want to be really thorough and get the most out of it, it depends on your goals. Most students in web want a job. There are a few that want to transfer into UCSD, but if you're going here for employment, this is one of the courses that would get you employment.
Great,
because
that's more what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean that's
a web design degree, and then to have a job doing this.
Yeah, I would definitely allocate a little more time. It'll pay off. Yeah, I do have the web club here, where if you're interested in it, you could sign up, and I'm getting employers to come in and speak. So as far as my goals for getting people employment, I would like to we want to have a table at the job fair this spring for the first time, and I want to post a heck of a lot more work on the grounds here so that people actually respect that we have a web development department. Yeah, so I don't know if you've been on ground before. It seems like people know we're here, but they don't see our work. The way our gallery shows work. Yeah, so I would like to.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I'll shut up for a second.
I didn't hear your last sentence.
No, I just said that same theme. The art gallery, there's places all around for other majors to show their work, but not for us. And there's also a lot of synergy opportunities. There's a dance major here, and those people all need portfolio websites. So there's a lot of synergy where we can be doing other students' websites just to get the word out. But it starts with, yeah. Well, the network, I'm trying to reach out to employers. Basically we have a professional advisory committee that is, I just set up this past semester, and they're pretty much the same committee I have at UCSD, and they help us decide curriculum. But they also hire within. So the idea is getting noticed by the companies around here, which we really haven't done in the last few years. So Vitamin Talent is going to come here and speak on campus, hopefully this upcoming week, and they're going to basically be telling the students what they need to learn and know to get contract work.
Oh, great. That's something I would want to go to attend.
Well, if you're curious, if you want to, if you go to mm214.com/webclub, you can set, look at that animation. You can sign up, and I just send you an email when we finalize the time and location. I think it might be Monday. I would like to record it, but I don't know if I'll be able to. I still have to finalize the time they're going to come in. But at least we get some. I mean, Vitamin T gets a lot of work. And I heard from past students they were paying $35 an hour for contract, which is pretty good. It's not benefits, but that's 60, 70 grand if you get 40 hours. Yeah.
It'd be good practice for me too, since I'm fairly new to everything.
Yeah. Well, at this point, if you're new, as is Lynn too, start thinking about what does what. For example, when you see this website right there, that's actually a JavaScript animation. But the data here, just like the content in this course, that's going in a database. And that database, when I email you guys, all I'm going to do is open up that database and loop around all the results and send the same email to all of you. So when you see websites, try to think about what technologies they use. PHP, you can't see the source code, so you can't really tell. But it's the only language that communicates with a database. That's it. So if it's dynamic content, I think I showed this before you came in, Julie, but this is one of my sites, is for the arena. And everything in here is stored in a database. Pretty much everything except for the navigation. But, you know, so you'd be in charge of inserting data and then displaying it as well. So over the next, we'll start databasing in the next like week or two in this course.
Okay, so for now it's just kind of the beginning. What it's all about.
You need to know PHP because when the database part of the course comes, you need to be able to communicate with the DB, the database itself. And there's another PHP course, WebD 166, which I also teach, and that course is very much a deep dive into PHP. So these courses, I have several of you that are taking this concurrently, but this is WebD 166, and we do nothing but PHP in here. It's very in-depth. But our course that we're in now, I'm just giving you enough PHP where you can communicate with the database.
Okay, so this would be like the first one you should take and then take 166 next?
Well, you can really take them either or. It doesn't matter, but I would highly recommend taking the HTML, which you've already done. So the problem is that WebD 153 is a lower number than 166 and even 162. And it's very, very difficult and challenging to change these course numbers. So what I'm trying to do is get a flowchart generated for the advisors. But these are our courses right now. And the course that you're taking, like right now, this is at the top. So people think it should be first. Now look what comes up next, 162. But beginning web databases, because it's web, is going to need HTML. Otherwise, we can't display our data and format it. And that is a challenge because this SD Mesa website puts this up top. But if we look at the details on this, it actually has WebD or 162. That's a prereq. But most people don't read that. They don't, you know, take that course first. But it's fine. We can work around it.
Well, I'm glad I took it. I'm taking 168 right now as well, so.
That's a good one, the intermediate.
Yeah.
I like 168. That's a good content. Do you have Cynthia? Or no, Cynthia got canceled. You have Marianne, right? She's great. She's a really good teacher.
What's her last name?
Gibson. Yeah. That's the only one. We had one on ground and it got canceled. They'll cancel a course here if they have less than 10 people.
And do those people who are already signed up get to go into the web class?
I don't know. Maybe. I would assume. And they would need to be accommodated somehow.
Yeah.
But this course that we have here, 153, we have a wait list still. I mean, there are people waiting to get in. A lot of people. Yeah, it's quite a bit.
I have a question for the very beginning. It's like on page 3. That's how beginning it is.
On the book?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pop out that book. I have it right here. So
maybe I should have watched the videos first.
No, it's fine. I'm here for another few minutes. So on page 3, huh?
Julie, can you turn your talk volume up? I can't really hear you.
Oh, sure.
It's under his photo. It's you just slide that little microphone thing to the right.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. Good.
Okay. Is it too loud?
No, it's never too loud. My computer doesn't have very loud. It's not very loud. I can barely hear anything.
That's perfect. Okay. So what do you got? What's your question?
Oh, there we go. Just in the script, like when it's saying that that's all that stuff you have to put in by the doc type.
Yeah, this is HTML4. For my purposes.
Oh, okay.
For my purposes, honestly, I'm happy with this. That's the HTML5 doc type.
Okay, great. That's what I was wondering because that looks so confusing to me, and in our last class it was so simple. Yeah,
it really should be this. This is a nice HTML. Just leave it simple. Yeah, the author of this book, I know him. He actually looks just like me. but there's some things he does that I don't do, like putting variables inside double quotes. You probably saw that video, but you know, I'm more concerned about getting you guys going, alleviating frustration, and just getting you in there to practice and play, because it's the best way to learn. Take my code, change it, see if it still works. Start understanding the cryptic error messages. Those are all things that will help you catch up.
Okay, great. That's what I need. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really not that big a deal when you see this doc type. It's older. It'll deprecate, but you know, by deprecate I mean it's eventually going to go away, but it'll still work. The browsers will all use it, but I don't need to see it on your work. I don't need to see this meta tag in your work.
Okay.
Head tags are good. Title tags are important for search engine optimization, so I would want to see that, but the rest, it really all just goes right into here between these PHP tags.
Okay, perfect. That was my main question. I was just overwhelmed with all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I didn't use it last semester, so
yeah,
I got confused.
it's overkill. Don't worry too much about it.
Great. Cool. Well, I think that's it for me.
Okay, great. Have a great night.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate the help.
Yeah, no problem. Lynn, you got anything else?
Yeah, so I never caught what you had said on the video that would be the best for the week 2 homework. Did you say it was called WebG Inform Data?
Yes.
Okay, and then I thought WebG 166 was an advisory for this class, not a requirement.
It's not. There's 165 or 160 was the prerequisite.
Whatever. I don't remember what you said. 162, 166, 165, something. I forget. But
Yeah.
I thought it was just an advisory, not a requirement.
Well, they do have prerequisites here, but again, Mesa will waive those.
Oh,
So,
it said prereq. I thought it just said advisory.
yeah, well, it's the same thing. It says basically advisory is a prerequisite.
Oh, it is? I thought it meant it was just advising that that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's why they let it in. But you can be fine without it. That's the point. I have an e-commerce class with, let's put it this way, I have an e-commerce, and there are students from other majors who have never coded anything. And that's got advisories for every course. That's a capstone end of program course.
Okay, so what is the best, like the fastest way to reach you, like say tomorrow if I need help?
I'll tell you what, the fastest way would be to do kdccore@gmail.com.
To what?
If you look on the screen, I'm putting my actual personal email. It's not my academic email.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Yep.
K.
This would be
What? I can't read that small. My resolution's not very good. I cannot read it at all. What does it say? KD Core?
I put it right in the chat.
Like Christian David Secor?
Close. It's Douglas, actually, but you got it.
Okay, at gmail.com?
That would hit my phone, and I would respond pretty quickly.
What?
That would go into my phone.
Okay,
I
can on my computer. I can barely hear what you're saying. So then, also, she was one of those people who was on the. You were like looking at script 1.2 or something like that. Was that the one you were looking at?
Just now, tell Julie I was looking at page 3 because she had a question about page 3.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear what you guys were saying. Okay.
Yeah. I'll turn my volume way up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
that's all. I was just looking at the book.
What?
I was just looking at the textbook.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so how about this weekend? Is that email is the best way also? Yep. I probably, just ignore me if I email you too late or too early. Just ignore it. Wait, is it going to beep on your phone and wake you up?
No.
Okay, good.
Don't worry about it. Just email me. It'll be fine.
If it's a bad time, just ignore it, okay? Because I've got really bad hours on the weekends.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Lynn. It's all good.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Secor.
All right, have a great night.
You too. Bye.